And in some real estate news, we hear things about a record low number of sales, and we're also hearing about the record high sale prices. Both of those things really happening? Well, just to clear some things up, and I'm sure comment on the last story, is Jim Bottrell of Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team. Jim, what do you think about that? I think that's very true, that people are staying in their homes longer, and probably because they worry if they sell their home, how are they going to be able to afford a new home?
Well, I didn't know you were going to talk about all that Redfin stuff, which is entirely true. Yeah, people are staying in their homes a lot longer. Last year, excuse me, last year we had a record low number of sales. So last time we were as low as we were was 1988.
Wow.
So, and the reason it makes perfect sense actually is because 82% of homeowners have an interest rate that's 3.5% or below. So they aren't normally going to be giving up that super low interest rate to go into a higher interest rate. Even if the house fits their needs a little bit better, they're not going to do it. And it's that lack of seller motivation, which is causing so few houses to come on the market. And with a very low number of houses on the market, that's driving housing prices up a little bit.
Now you are seeing that some of those sale prices, though, they are pretty high. If you are selling, man, you're in a good position.
Well, yeah, you are in a great position. If you own homes right now, you love all the things that are happening right now. So it's fantastic for you, absolutely. If you're trying to buy, much harder. I would give anybody the advice of, your first home is not going to be your dream home. Just understand that. You've got to get in the game. Once you're in the game, you become immune to everything. You become immune to high interest rates. If they go up, if they go down, refi down. But you don't have to worry about rent rates going up anymore, the landlord not fixing things and deciding to not renew you. I mean, there's a lot of stability in owning a home.
Yeah, and I think that there are options, right? If you are a first-time home buyer, that, I mean, don't give up, that there are some ways that maybe you can get into a home.
Well, there are a lot of great programs out there. We have programs, lenders have programs out there. There's first-time home buyer programs. As far as the interest rates being too high, one of the tools that most of my buyers are using right now is using a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down, to where we can get the interest rate much lower for the first 3 years. And then if interest rates come down, you just refi. So it is one of the tools that we use. Plus there's down payment assistance programs. There's a lot of programs out there. So if anybody's even thinking about buying, just talk to somebody. Talk to a lender, talk to a realtor, it doesn't matter.
And my question is, I mean, you always hear, oh, well, we'll just wait till the rates go down. Or we'll just wait.
Well, that sounds like an awesome plan, but it's not going to work.
Right.
Because right now there's already too many buyers, or there's more buyers than there are houses for sale, for the most part. There are. I mean, good houses are selling very quick. Different ones are maybe not so much. But there are a massive number of buyers that are sitting on the sideline, people who would normally be in the market buying right now, but they're just sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down. So let's say interest rates do come down a little bit. I don't really think they will, but let's say they do come down a little bit. Now that wave of buyers, that human wave of buyers, is going to enter the market, and there aren't going to be any additional homes for sale. So what that's going to do is it's going to cause housing prices to go up even more. They're going to go up even faster.
Wow, which I'm like, we're already seeing such high prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, Jim Bottrell, we appreciate you coming in, providing your insight. As always, nobody knows it better than you. Thank you. It's good to see you.
All right. Thanks.